while we are running around not being decisive in those certain areas. And guys, you all can make decisions, you all do make decisions. It's just certain pockets that you're not making decisions. So it's not like, oh, no one respects me for anything. It's not that. But in your areas of indecision, that's one of the biggest challenges. And we like to be respected, if nothing else. And how often have we heard that comment? You just don't respect me. Well, probably that's part of the reason. It's because I can't make up my mind. You know, so someone's here, there, and everywhere. You know, they're unreliable, because often an unreliable person is an indecisive person. Because they can't commit to something. And that's okay. You know, now that we've got this out in the open, now we can do something about it. And it's important to go, oof, okay. Not go, well, I'm just going to beat myself up and do some strange things. It's like, that's not what it's about. It's like, right, I want to have respect. I want people not to think all those things that we thought of them. Because if we think that, people will think that of us. That's how it works. Yeah. You know, making decisions is a powerful thing. It is useful. And people that are decisive, we may not necessarily like them. But we respect them. We may not necessarily go, oh, you're so lovely and nice. Because often making decisions isn't a lovely and nice thing. But we will stand and respect them for decisions that, if they are firm and decisive. So some of the politicians that kind of waver backwards and forwards. Mm-hmm. But if they stick to their guns as a general rule, we kind of go, whew, that's a strong person. We may not think, oh, I respect them because they are decisive. We don't think necessarily. We just kind of go, We may not like it. We might not agree with their point of view. That's not the point. We will still respect. That's a strong person. Okay.
So decisive people often, in my view, they don't care what other people think a lot of the time.
No, they absolutely do care what other people think. But they actually have to care more about the information at hand.
Well, they do care.
Of course.
But they don't appear, you know, like a weak person, an indecisive person, often won't make that decision because they're thinking what other people will think about them. Whereas a decisive person doesn't seem to mind what people might think of them in that way.
Oh, I think they do mind.
But it's not a priority.
It's not, the most important part about making the decision is moving forward. Rather than, well, you know, is everybody going to love me?
Well, they just tend to depend on the outcome.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
On the inside, they might have it.
Absolutely, yeah. And often you'll find people, they do that. I mean, I've done all sorts of interesting things and I've gone, no, that's how it's going to be. And also, people come at me, it's like, and then 3 hours later, 4 hours later, they go, oh, I get it now. And I go, some people have been on some courses like that. The question is how to decide. We have to start from scratch, from conscious scratch, as in pizza or pasta. Who wants pizza? Who wants pasta? Who doesn't mind? No. The moment you go, I don't mind, someone else makes the decision.
And then they say, I didn't walk past.
Isn't that amazing?
Then you want pizza.
Yeah. And that's the point. I use pizza and pasta because they're very close, but they're very different too. So, I mean, it's amazing how that works. And then you go and make the decision. Why did we go to this restaurant or whatever it is? So when someone says I don't mind, say, well, if you had the choice, what would it be? Well, I don't mind. Choose. And often one of the reasons why relationships fall apart is because the partner's indecisive. And the other person can't respect them. Or has little respect. And they're always having to make the decisions. Really important to have a point of view and to state it. And then if he wants pizza and you want pasta, go to a place that sells both. Or agree to disagree. I'd really prefer pizza, but you know what? Tonight we'll have pasta. But tomorrow night, let's have pizza. Okay. Does that work for you? Yeah? So we're agreeing to agree. It's a whole different topic. But the reality is, it's far better to have a point of view than to go, I'm easy. That's the other one. Same, I don't mind, I'm easy. It's the same thing.
That's because you don't want to upset the other person.
Well,
You keep people happy. Yeah.
now isn't that fascinating? So I'm easy, and therefore I should be able to keep the peace. The reality there is that they look at you and go, you're easy, and I don't respect you. So you're not keeping them happy. And you're not keeping you happy, yes.
What if you really just don't like them?
Okay. The bottom line is, we really do. If given a choice, we really do.
See, I'm trouble with things like eating and stuff. I eat anything, so what if you really don't mind? Even if you, I don't mind, I'm easy, whatever.
Sure, I'm easy, whatever. But given a choice, you would choose something. If you went to the fridge, given a choice, you'd go, I'll have some of that, I'll have some of that, and I'll have some of that. You do have a point of view. That's the fascinating thing, is we all have a point of view. And yes, or whatever, I'll eat anything. Fine. But we still have a point of view. And it's a good place to exercise it, actually, starting with food. It really is a good place to exercise it.
I was just going to say my 2-year-old has a point of view about what he'd like. But it's incredible how young and how freely he will express his point of view of what he wants to eat or doesn't want to eat or wants to do.
Until we
round it out. I'm smart that he is more easygoing at 2 about which
Josh
shoes
has
to
got a
wear.
fabulous point of view. You know, he's got a point of view about everything. And the reality is that we kind of need to encourage it, but we also need to kind of hone it, which is tricky. But the reality is that we are born with a point of view because we put something in our mouth and go, and 6 months later, when they're tiny, 6 months later or a year later, their taste buds develop, they change, and it's like, actually. And our agreement with using points of view in children and whatever, our agreement is taste it. Just taste it. He looks at it and goes, I don't like that. And that's his point of view, just by observing. It doesn't look right. Something's wrong with this. Okay, just taste it. Actually, it's not so bad. Great. Do you want to eat it then? No, it doesn't look right. Okay, but it's not so... Do you know what I'm saying? So, and that's okay. So if we made it look better, then you'd probably eat it. No, but do you see what I'm saying? It's often... You've got to be clear about allowing that person's point of view, because one of the reasons why people are so indecisive is because we weren't given that opportunity, that permission to be expansive. We really weren't. So, and one must be aware of that. Right, we're going to talk about the reason for not deciding. And I think we must really look at that. And we'll look at confusion, certainty, lack of information, permission and agreement. And we'll pull those apart a bit.